Hi, my name is Jonathan, and I'm 16 years old. Tell me, what is your biggest dream? Well, for example, going to space or becoming president. Unfortunately, such dreams often stay dreams. But my dream, unbelievable as it is, came true. Not quite the way I wanted it to, though. Subscribe to the channel and I will tell you my amazing story. I was a completely ordinary teenager going to a very ordinary school. Like everyone else, I had a dream. I wanted to become a real secret agent, like James Bond. I loved the movies about him and all the spy stuff. I knew there wasn't a college that taught you how to be a secret agent, though. So I only dreamed about one day saving the world with my best friend. Yes, Max was just like me and loved everything about spies just as much. All the other kids thought we were geeks, but we were just in our own little world. I also spent hours on websites that posted various real investigations and exposed all sorts of criminals. There was everything there. Hidden cameras, wiretaps, covert surveillance. I envied the people who did that kind of work so much. One day, I watched a video exposing all the secrets of a dishonest sheriff. It was so cool that I could not help myself and commented how much I wanted to fight for justice as well. That is where my story began. Just a couple days after that, a stranger texted me. The message said that some secret organization was interested in me and wanted me to work for them. Of course, it came as a real surprise, but what shocked me the most was the address they had sent me. Everyone in our city knew that carefully guarded high-rise building, and there were all sorts of rumors about it. It stood in the office district, and no one knew what was going on inside of it. My friend said it belonged to some kind of secret organization, and of course, I believed them. And now, whoever was in that building was inviting me to a job interview. I couldn't believe it was happening. Of course, I immediately got ready and ran to the address I knew by heart. It looked like something out of a spy movie. I was body scanned at a metal detector and checked for bugs. Then, I was ushered into an office. A man in a suit was waiting for me there. He immediately warned me that everything I would hear there was highly classified. "You call me Mr. Smith," the man in the suit said. Then he told me that they had been watching me and my fascination with secret investigations for a long time. They needed a young man who would not arouse suspicion working as a spy. That's why the bosses of their organization decided to recruit me. Could it be real? Was my dream about to come true? Without hesitation, I agreed to all of the conditions. And there were a lot of them. First of all, I wasn't supposed to tell anyone what I was doing. Secondly, I would get a special phone number and would have to rush to that building as soon as they called. And finally, I would have to go on dangerous missions for the organization from time to time. I came out of the building a completely different person. I felt a huge responsibility and an equally great coolness. In the evening, Max and I were watching a new movie about secret agents. But I wasn't interested in things like that anymore, because I was now a secret agent myself. I wanted to tell all my friends about it so much, but I remembered what the man in the suit had told me and kept silent. A week later, as I was leaving school, I got my first call on the secret phone. It was Mr. Smith. He said that the time had come for me to go on my first mission. I immediately ran to the building I had visited not that long ago. They gave me glasses with a built-in camera and attached a hidden microphone to my clothes for recording. I had to go to a nightclub and follow some man. They showed me his picture and told me that he was very dangerous. If I didn't get dirt on him, he could do a lot of bad things. After they explained the mission to me, I immediately headed for the club. Once there, I quickly found that person and began discreetly following him. I pretended to be hanging out with the crowd, but kept my eyes on the person from the photo. At the same time, the camera in my glasses was taking pictures of everything he was doing, and the microphone was recording what he was saying. Oh yes, I felt like a real spy. I kept following that guy until he left the club. Only then did I go to the organization to give them everything I'd gathered. Mr. Smith praised me and said that I had done great for my first time. Since then, I had been regularly going on missions for that secret organization. I followed all sorts of people and recorded their conversations. Neither my friends nor my parents knew what I was doing after school, and I felt like a real secret agent. However, I still did not know what the name of that organization was. All I had managed to find out was that they were in some way protecting the environment and bringing light to the wrongdoings of those polluting it. Mr. Smith explained to me that some of the schemes of those criminals were very hard to expose through legal means, and they had to resort to some less honest methods, which is exactly where I came in. Still, it was all in the name of good. But one day, something happened. That day, Mr. Smith called me after school and asked me to come quickly for a new mission. It was a perfectly normal one. I had to break into a guy's house and get some evidence of his crimes. However, when they showed me his photo, I was gobsmacked. It was Max's father. I couldn't believe that he was polluting the environment and breaking the law. Mr. Smith noticed my surprise and said, "We are aware that you know this person, but don't let him fool you. He's not who he says he is." Mr. Smith told me that Max's father had somehow gotten permission to cut down the forest in our state's nature reserve. He had acted very carefully, so it was impossible to directly accuse him of the crime. Only I could get him to confess and save our forest. I thought about it. On one hand, it was my best friend's father. On the other hand, I had just found out the terrible truth about him, and I was the only one who could stop him. What would James Bond do in my place? Of course, he would fight for justice, and I agreed and said I would do it. A couple of days later, Max let slip that there was going to be a party at his house that evening. I realized that it was my chance and asked him to come. Max looked surprised and said that his dad's friends would come to the party to discuss some secrets. It wouldn't be interesting there, but I suggested we take advantage of the situation and play Spy Quest. Max thought about it and agreed. After school, I ran to the organization's headquarters to get a camera and a microphone. Mr. Smith praised me when he heard my idea with the quest. I was ready to accomplish another mission and do another good deed. The party wasn't really that much fun. Max's father was just sitting there and discussing something with his friends. We hung around pretending to be spies. My friends didn't even realize that it wasn't a game for me at all. I tried to get closer to get a better shot. At some point, I heard Max's father say something about the forest. Just what I needed. I pretended to be tying my shoelaces while recording the video of everything the adults were talking about. After the party, I immediately ran to Mr. Smith. I wanted to tell him about successfully accomplishing my mission as soon as possible. He watched the video I had filmed and said that I had done the right thing. "You're making great progress. Soon, we will be giving you the most important and dangerous tasks," added Mr. Smith. I began to imagine myself as a real spy, uncovering world conspiracies. Then, all of a sudden, everything went wrong. A couple of days after my mission at the party, a video exposing Max's father appeared on the internet. I watched it, and it wasn't what I had been expecting at all. Everything I had filmed had been edited so that it looked like he was confessing to his crimes. But Max's father hadn't said anything like that. I knew it was Mr. Smith's doing, but I didn't understand why he had done it. When I came to school the next day, my angry friend confronted me at once. Max said he'd immediately guessed who had filmed his father. "Jonathan, you traitor! Why would you do that?" he asked angrily. I started making excuses, saying that Max's father was a bad person who wanted to cut down the forest illegally. But my friend said that I couldn't be more wrong. His father was an eco-activist fighting for nature conservation. The only one who actually wanted to cut down the forest was some organization that had illegally obtained permission for that. Max's father and his friends were trying to stop that organization, and things had been going great until I had got involved and messed it all up. Now, Max's father looked like the bad guy, while the real criminals were getting away with it all. While my friend was telling me all that, I saw my classmates looking at me with angry eyes. I realized that I had just lost the respect of all of the students at my school. And I'll be honest, at that moment, I no longer felt like a spy. I felt like a traitor. I had a lot of questions for Mr. Smith, so I ran to the organization's building at once. When I got into his office, I immediately said that I was suspicious of them. It seemed to me that the organization was dishonestly trying to make good people into some scoundrels. Mr. Smith listened to me calmly and said, "Yes, Jonathan, you are absolutely right. Good spies only exist in movies." In real life, they fulfill any whims of those who are willing to pay. They had been taking advantage of my dream of becoming a secret agent and tricking me. I had set up good people so that Mr. Smith and his employees could profit from it. Only then did I understand what the organization was doing and why it was so secret. After all, if everyone knew the truth about it, they would have got rid of that building already. Mr. Smith seemed to understand what I was thinking and said sternly, "Now remember, you've signed a contract, and you now have to keep our secrets. Otherwise, you'll get in big trouble." I left and decided that I would never come back there. But what am I supposed to do now? The whole school thinks I'm a traitor. I've made a mistake and have to fix it, even if I get in trouble later. That's what a real James Bond would do. You can help me. Share this story and write in the comments down below what you think about it.